Let's bring in former DOJ prosecutor Jim Trusty on the phone. Jim, was there ever any doubt in your mind that it would have been a verdict of guilty on all counts?
Well, not a lot, because it's a very strong case. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming. And, you know, even though his defense kind of lacked the spine, as Professor Turley was talking about, yeah, he did touch on one tiny issue that a lawyer could have worked with, which was the question of whether there was a substantial step. Where's the line where preparation becomes an attempt? Now, he did it very inartfully, and he didn't help himself, but he kind of stumbled on to maybe about the only issue you could play with. But I have to say, the thing that I'm fast-forwarding the sentencing, and the thing I find fascinating is, will President Trump provide a victim impact statement at sentencing? Because he's entitled to do so as the target of that assassination attempt. And I think that could be a really fascinating moment to see if he submits something or if he even appears in front of Judge Cannon and provides the statement.
Jim, I wonder, we're going to have a camera outside the courthouse there in just a moment. Do you expect that we would hear from the prosecution as they exit the courthouse?
Look, there's different cultures in different U.S. attorneys' offices. They may give a little bit of a courthouse steps conversation. I think they would probably, if they do, it'll be pretty vanilla. You know, they'll thank their agents. They'll be congratulatory towards the jury. And, you know, to go back to the jury question for just a second, the only real risk here is that when you have a pro se trial, an unrepresented defendant who seems to have some evident mental health issues, that occasionally jurors start to be sympathetic in a weird way. They start wondering, is this the process that I should be a part of, where the guy is outgunned by DOJ, doesn't have his own lawyer? They may not realize it was entirely his decision to go that way. And so every now and then you get some mischief from jurors that somebody might hang the jury because they just don't have comfort. But here, I mean, this jury barely got their free lunch. You know, they got a sandwich, they picked the foreman, they looked at the exhibits, and they looked around the room and said, we're all good, right? And, you know, that's 3 hours.
Yeah.
So what do you make of the fact, Jim, that they wanted to look at the weapon, they wanted to look at the magazine, they wanted to look at the cartridges, and then within 10 minutes of doing that, made up their mind? I mean, to try to get in the minds of the jurors here, why would looking at those pieces of evidence cement in your mind that, yeah, he's guilty?
I think they're just literally checking a box. Like, let's, you know, treat the system, treat this process with respect. We should probably look at the exhibits. They take a quick look, make sure everything's in order. And, you know, frankly, their verdict was in mind before they looked at it.
Okay, just some color coming from outside the courthouse there, as we eventually will get this shot up. But Ruth's daughter, who we just played a clip of earlier, who suggested that they've just been after him. I think she used the word, her father's been bullied through this process. She apparently, Jim, just left the courthouse in tears.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a family dynamic there that none of us knows. You really can't be surprised that she's not exactly an objective observer about what's going on. Maybe she's been talking to him from jail every day and he's filling her head with victimization kind of stories, or maybe that's just her natural inclination to think that he's a victim because he's getting all this attention and soon to get a very serious sentence. But, you know, it would be gratuitous to pile on too much about her credibility at this moment.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.